hopefully I have set this up right and you can hear me and see me. And I need to re-angle this camera. That's better. Let's get nice and cozy in there. And of course the baby wakes up as soon as I start. So yeah, this mess on my table is Marvel Champions. It's the new living card game from Fantasy Flight Games. Ignore the Darth Vader breathing in the background. That's just the baby monitor. So I'm just going to run through a scenario here. So I'm using the new Captain America hero pack. And I'm going to be playing against Ultron. So I'll run through the basics of the game as I'm starting, but then hopefully we'll pick up the pace as we go. So let me just tweak a setting. That's all fine. Okay. So we should be able to leave that and do that. Right. And I should be able to see chat over there, but we'll see. Yeah, there we go. Right. So, the way this game works is you can play it solo, which is what I'm doing at the moment, or you can play with up to 4 players, I believe, or is it 5? One of those numbers. Obviously, the more players you have, it takes slightly longer. Let's move that cable out of the way. But it's a great game to play solo. I've been having lots of fun getting into it. So yeah, let's get started. So the way a round works is that I do all my actions. I basically try and play as many cards as I can, discarding cards to generate resources to play the cards I want. Cards come in different types. There's events, which are one-off cards that do special effects. There's also pieces of equipment, which are in the form of upgrades. Supports, which are sort of like tap this card to generate blah blah blah. And then there's also allies, which are other superheroes you can bring into the game to help you out. The villain similarly has similar sort of thing going on for them, but they can deal some nasty damage and stuff like that at the same time. So I take all my actions, and then the villain takes theirs, and then the round resets. And that's the basics of the game. Okay. So I just need to finish doing my setup stuff. So I've already set up the Ultron one. I'll do the intro for that in a second. And I've got Steve Rogers here, and I should be able to show the cards like that. And it should look nice and pretty for you. So yeah, I'm playing Steve Rogers, and then flip him over to become Captain America when I am ready. Okay, so first of all I need to do the intro here. So Ultron's first agenda is the Crimson Cowl. Agendas in this game are basically how the villain wins. They win by getting through this small deck of cards here, which will take a while. It's either by doing that, by generating threat and scheming, or by defeating me just outright in combat, which again can take a while, but certain things will happen where I'll scream into the microphone, where he'll deal massive damage to me because Ultron's annoying. Anyway, so okay, so this follows on from the previous scenario in the starter set, which is the Claw scenario. So in the starter set you get a couple of scenarios. You get the Rhino, who's your standard starting learn to play scenario. He's quite easy to defeat. Then you have Claw, who's a bastard that takes a while to defeat because it's more luck based than anything getting one up on him. It took me 5 attempts to defeat him. And then there is also Ultron, which is the one I'm playing here. So this, like I said, is set after Claw. So Claw's mysterious red-hooded employer is really the genocidal android Ultron. So the first side of the first agenda card, need to get used to using the camera weirdly, is this. So I've already set up the contents part of the box, and that's all here. And then set up, put the Ultron drone's environment into play, shuffle the encounter deck, and advance to stage 1B. So conveniently, I've got the Ultron drones at the top of the deck, almost like I planned this. So each face-down drone minion engaged with a player has a base scheme of 1 and the base attack of 1, and the base hit. Okay, if your face-down drone minion is defeated, place that card in this discard pile. Okay, that makes no sense now, but I'm sure it'll make more sense later. So first of all, let's have a look at what Ultron's doing. So he's got a scheme value of 1, and an attack value of 2. And when he attacks, he's also got a forced response, which is after Ultron attacks, you choose to either place one threat on the main scheme or put the top card from your deck into play face down, engage with you as a drone minion. That's how it works. Right. So it's either I get more threat on here, which makes it close to Ultron winning, or I allow this to come into effect and I start losing cards and putting them into play as drones, which is equally not as fun. Okay. Let's take a drink of my nondescript beverage. And so, right, yeah, shuffle the encounter deck. So as you can see, I'm awkwardly reaching around the microphone and I've got the camera right next to me, so bear with me. Okay, there we go. And then shuffle my own deck of cards. So I'll explain what all the cards and tokens are off to the side as well before we start playing. I should have done Steve's setup thing first. So, actually no, draw and then resolve setup. So yeah, I'm doing it in the right order. So my hand limit for Steve, if we look on the card closely, is tiny text at the bottom, 6 cards. So I'm drawing my 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did shuffle these cards a lot before I started. Honest. Right, so we've got Quinjet, which is a support. Let's remember to move the cards lower down so they're actually in the shot. I'll wrap myself around the camera. So I can put the Avenger Ally from my hand into play. Printer cost equals a number of times. Okay. After turn. Oh, right, okay, so I can generate resources specifically to bring out Avengers tagged allies, so for instance Squirrel here or Wonder Man. So I've got a couple of options here, some quite low cost allies to begin with. Exhaust any number of allies you control, draw 1 card. Okay, that's good. Play any of your... Okay, right, those are all quite good. So I can mulligan at this point, but I'm not going to because that's actually quite a good starting hand, I think. So I'll just put that down for now, and I'm going to do Steve's setup ability, which is search your deck and discard pile for a Captain America shield upgrade and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. So just, if it says search, so I'm not just taking the top one, so I can choose the one I want. Captain America shield. Oh, so it's only one, so shield block, Captain America shield, there we go. And then give that a quick shuffle. Yes, I'm one of those people that doesn't use sleeves because I'm normal. So, Captain America shield. Restricted, max 2 restricted cards per player. Not encountered that before. This will be a new thing for these cards. I guess these, because they're quite powerful items, so restricted in only being allowed access to 2 of them. So Captain America gets +1 defense and gains Retaliate 1. So I believe Retaliate 1 is dealing damage every time I get damage. So this is also one of those card games where there is a little rules reference that you're constantly dipping into because there's keywords at the wazoo. There's always something going on. So Retaliate, see keywords, and flick through to keywords. Keywords. So Retaliate, player cannot control more than 2 restricted cards and player given. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Retaliate X. After this character is attacked, deal X damage to the attacker. The character must survive the attack to deal this damage. X is the value next to the Retaliate keyword. So every time I get attacked, I deal 1 damage back because I got a shield. Right. Okay. So Steve's other abilities. He's got 3 recover there. So if on my turn I tap him, I get 3 health back. My health is 11. Ultron's first phase health is 17. Once I defeat his first phase, move on to a second phase and get a load of health back. Then things get harder. Okay, so then the setup. So reduce the cost of the first ally you play each round by 1, which is cool. So I think we're ready to get started. I just want to do one last check before we jump in. So bear with me 1 minute. Right. Let's leave that open so I can flip between the two. Okay. Right. One of the main reasons I want to do these streams is just because I have to talk. It'll force me to talk through playing the game, which in theory should make me play the game a bit better than I currently do, and sort of learn as doing sort of thing. I'll explain stuff as we go as well. So before we jump in, I'll explain what all this stuff is here. So that's Ultron Stage 3, which we're not using in this game. I just put them to one side just so I don't lose the card. We're only using Stage 1 and 2 because we're playing in standard mode. So these are advanced counters. So when these come into play, they place more threat on here per round. I'll explain that in a bit. These are threat tokens, so these are the tokens that Ultron's putting on his schemes. These are hit the camera. These are damage tokens, so they're multi-use. My allies, his allies that he brings out, and various other things. These are multi-purpose counters, so some cards say put X amount of special counters on, you just use those, and it's gradually deplete. These are status cards, and they do various things. It's usually some sort of delaying, so it stops the villain from scheming, stops them from attacking, allows you to take an extra hit before losing any health, that sort of thing. Then Ultron's here, and then there's his drones. Enemy deck, my deck, Steve. Schemes. Good. Right. Okay, so I need to remember to wrap myself around their microphone awkwardly as I'm playing. So we kick off by resolving this. So I'll bring it up here to the camera. So we've done the first bit here, which is the setup. Now we flip it over. So Ultron is using, the Crimson Cowl, Ultron is using components Claw delivered in order to build an army of Ultron drones. When revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engaged with them as a drone minion. So now that's a drone that's going to be attacking me. Okay, and then the way these cards work is that you have the target threat value that Ultron's trying to get to here, and then every round what's added at the start of the round, and then the number at the bottom, which is currently 0, is how many it starts off with. So it's only 3, so this one's probably going to go quite quickly because 1 threat gets placed on every round, but it comes out with nothing on it, which is okay. So that's in play, and it's now my go. So scheme of 1, hit points of 1. So I'm just going to put that on there to remind me it has 1 hit point. And if you're in the chat and I make any mistakes or you have any questions, just put them in. I'll do my best to spot them and answer them. Okay. Right, got my hand of cards. So what I want to do, when you're playing cards, it's quite simple. Is the numbers in the top left corner. That's the cost it takes to bring them into play. And to bring them into play, you're just discarding cards from your hand to generate resources. And the resources they generate are these teeny tiny symbols in the bottom corner. Some cards have special effects when they're brought into play with certain types of resources like science, energy, punching. and then the green one here is wild. But that doesn't come into play that often, although it depends on the character you're using. So I think my aim for this turn is to get shield out the Quinjet, maybe one of these allies, and then flip to Steve and punch Ultron in the face, because I don't want him to scheme. So the way Ultron either attacks you or places additional threat on here is depending on your status. If I'm in my secret identity mode, my civilian identity, he'll be placing tokens on here. If I'm in my superhero mode, he'll be punching me in the face. That sort of thing. Okay. So... discard. Alright, so I'm going to discard, make the call to bring out the shield. So Captain America gets +1 defense and gains retaliate. I'll slide that under there so I don't forget. Then do I have to discard the Quinjet after I use it? Action. Then discard the Quinjet. Okay. Right, I'll discard strength in numbers to generate 1 resource to bring the Quinjet into play. I'm just going to put that at the bottom down here. Well, that's not in the shop. I'll move it there. Then I'm going to use Steve's Living Legend ability, which is reduce the cost of the first ally you play each round by 1. So I will discard Honorary Avenger to bring Squirrel Girl out into play. And then Squirrel Girl has an ability which is, after Squirrel Girl enters play, deal 1 damage to each enemy. So Ultron's health ticks down to 16, and his drone takes 1 damage, which I believe that defeats it, and then that goes into there. Okay, so 1 less drone to deal with. Let's just shift these up a bit. And then I've got Squirrel Girl out. Steve still. I don't want to use Steve at this time to recover because there's no point. So I've sort of exhausted all the things I can do with the cards. So that only ticks up at the beginning of a round. So on your turn, you can play as many cards as you want from your hand that you can afford. Trigger and request actions. So that's sort of what I was doing here. So triggering Steve's ability to enable myself to get Squirrel Girl for 1 cheaper. And then the other thing you can do, which is my favourite mechanic in the whole game, is just flip over to your either superhero mode or your alter ego. Surprisingly, it's such a little idea, but it really fits the theme of the game well, I find. And now we come to the fun bit. So let's have a look at Captain America. So Captain America has a thwart value of 2, so if I choose to thwart, tap him and thwart, I will remove 2 threat from there. There's no threat at the moment, which I don't want to do. 2 attacks, so similarly, tap into attack, I'll do 2 damage. Defense, if I'm being attacked and I choose to defend, tap Steve to minus 2 damage from what Ultron can do, and then I need to remember I have +1 because of the shield. And retaliate as well. Steve also has, Captain America also has an action. I can do this all day. Love it. Action, discard 1 card from your hand to ready Captain America. So that means I could do 2 actions with Captain America per round if I want to, which I might actually do, because Wonder Man does have really good attack value. We'll think about it. Okay. Right, so flipped over. So I'm going to keep Squirrel Girl as is for the moment, because I'm not going to attack with her. Because if you attack or thwart with an ally, some of them have, well, most of them have these damage symbols underneath their values, which means when you use that ability, you take 1 damage, or 2 damage if there's 2, and Squirrel Girl only has 2 health, so I want to save her for the right opportunity. Okay. So I'm going to just exhaust, sorry I shouldn't say tap, because that's copyright Magic the Gathering, exhaust Steve to attack Ultron directly, because there's no minions engaged with me, so I'm going to deal 2 damage to Ultron, so he goes from 16 to 14. I could discard Wonder Man to use Steve's ability to re-ready and then attack him again, but I sort of want to keep Wonder Man because he could deal some big damage later, so I'm just going to keep him there. And then that's the end of my turn. So at the end of my turn, I can discard any cards I don't want from my hand. I'm going to keep Wonder Man, hopefully to bring him into play next round, and then draw cards equal to my new hand size. My current hand size is 5. It tends to be, when you're in superhero mode, you have 1 less to your hand size. Unless you're Tony Stark, when you go to Iron Man, you have none, but he has a way to work around that. So I've got Falcon, Power of Leadership, which is really good. Shield Toss, Hero Action. Okay. A couple of good things there. And then we just ready cards I exhausted this round. So Cap comes back into play. And then that's the end of my turn. So flip this over to go to the villain side of things. And now it's Ultron's turn. So by default, I place whatever the starting value for threat is per round. So it's 1, so 1 token goes on there. And then because I'm in superhero mode, Ultron's now going to attack me. So he's going to attack. So he'll do 2 damage and then do what's called a boost. Then I can choose to defend that before the boost comes out. I'm feeling quite good at the moment. I've got 11 health. I'm okay, although he does do 2 damage. I could throw Squirrel Girl in front of him and have her taken out, but don't want to do that right now. Although one thing I could do is take the damage, defend against it, and then discard a card later. I think I will do that actually. So I'm going to exhaust Steve again to defend. So I've got defense value of 3, so 2 plus the 1 here thanks to the shield. And don't forget I also have retaliate 1 as well. So Ultron's default attack value is 2, and then flip over one of these cards here to see the symbol in the bottom corner here. If it's a star, like it is, it means I read this. So deal 1 damage to each character you control. So that gets discarded. Thankfully, it doesn't add any additional damage to that. So hold on, because that's separate damage. Do I count that twice for retaliate? When the character so it's after the attack is done. Right. Okay. So there's no additional damage. Ultron does 2. My defense soaks that up, but then I deal 1 damage to Ultron back, which is not too shabby. And then we have Ultron's forced response, which is after Ultron attacks you, you choose to either place 1 threat on the main scheme or put the top card of your deck into play face down, engage with you as a minion. So I'm going to do that. Let's put that there. And put that on there to remind myself that it's got 1 health. And then next thing we do is we deal an encounter card to each player. There'll be more of those later. And then reveal and resolve the encounter cards in player order. So when revealed, each drone minion engage with your hero attacks. If no attacks are made this way, put top card of your deck into play face down, engage with the drone. So the drone attacks me, can't defend against it. It's an attack of 1. So that takes me down to 9 health. But then I've got retaliate and I hit back for 1. Which is not too bad actually. And then that just gets discarded. At this point, if you're playing a multiplayer game, you pass the first player token, but because I'm playing solo, just flip that over and it's my turn again. Okay. So let's have a look. So I could bring Falcon into play, but probably best to do that as Steve. So I want to do something with Captain America first. Then use Power of Leadership to reduce the cost of Falcon further. Discard X cards from your hand. Return Captain America's shield from play. Okay. So X enemy super souls generate a punch resource. And then Wonder Man. Additional cost for Wonder Man to attack. You must discard 1 card from your hand. I think he does 3 damage, which is pretty good. Oh, so that goes there. Start of my turn. Generates 1 resource in there to spend on allies. Okay. So, right. So I need to discard a card to ready Cap to potentially attack again or thwart. Or I could just leave that this round. Sort of want to get through stage 1 quickly, so Ultron hopefully doesn't power up too much. But then the inverse is I'm not powered up enough already, so I want to get that out. Don't have the stuff to do that first, so if I do that, so that will do double number leadership. This card generates, so that'll go up to 2, so I just need one more. Choices. Right. First things first. Let's. So I want to bring allies out when I'm in Steve mode. Okay, so let's not attack or anything with Steve this round. Let's flip over to alter ego mode, and then that's reducing the cost of one ally. So let's have a look at Falcon's abilities here. After Falcon enters play, look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. For each treachery, look this way, remove 1 threat from the scheme. So it's not useful to me to bring out Falcon now, so I'm probably going to bring out Wonder Man instead, which makes things a bit easier. Because I can just do a straight play that, which generate the 2, even though I don't need the 2, because Steve's ability automatically reduces it down to 1. But then if I'm attacking with Wonder Man, I need to discard a card, which is not too bad. Okay. Hey. So I don't need to worry about being quiet. Nobody's watching at the moment. I'm just doing it to go through the process.
I managed to get here. I had to wait for ages at the roundabout while they finished doing one of the things. I got really, really lucky. There was another mini that pulled up just before I did, who also wanted to get in, so they talked to them and everything, and we're already sorting it all out.
That's good.
And they had to move 2 rollers apart to let this mini through, and I was obviously exactly the same size, so we just sneaked it back. I was so lucky.
Yeah. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to thwart with Squirrel Girl, which sadly means Squirrel Girl does disappear. Ignore the noise my wife is making. But I remove 1 threat from there. It does get archived. People could watch it at their own leisure later. So that stops the advance of Ultron's plot. And then I'm going to discard these 2 cards to bring out the Super Soldier Serum upgrade. Say that 5 times fast. Which basically means, actually I'll move that to the side because that's an exhaust card. Each round I can exhaust this card to generate a punch resource. And that's all I can really do. I could attack with Wonder Man, but I don't have any cards to discard from my hand. So we'll leave it there. So I draw back up to my hand size, which is now 6. So let's have a quick look for the next round. So we've got Avengers Assemble. Ready each Avenger character you control until the end of the phase. Each Avenger character. Ooh, that's quite good. Is Steve... Who's that? He's an Avenger. Cool. So I can do some major damage. And your identity has the Avenger trait. Attach your plus 1. Okay. So I can make somebody an Avenger with that one, such as Mockingbird. If your allies has the Avenger trait, increase your ally limit by 1, which is good because you're only limited to 3 allies usually. Okay, so all these are quite good. And then that gives me a get out of jail free card if I get defeated, which is pretty good. So then, ready Steve. And that's the end of my turn. So it goes to villain. I'm just going to do a quick check. Make sure that's all working still, yep. Okay. You know, actually, I'll do a re-share of stuff, so bear with me 2 minutes. plan. So it is Ultron's turn. So we get the one threat going on his scheme, just because it's the start of his turn. That's what he does, because he's a bastard. And then, because I'm in my alter ego mode as Steve Rogers, Ultron's gonna scheme. So scheme value is 1, which is not bad. So at least 1's gonna go on here that I can't stop. But then we're gonna see if the boost does anything. So that symbol means 1 is added to the scheme value. So 2 tokens go in here, which sadly means Ultron's plot advances to the next stage. So get rid of that one. So the next stage in this plan is the assault on NORAD. As you pressure Ultron, you receive a distress call from the North American Aerospace Defense Command in Colorado. Whew. They are besieged by an army of Ultron drones. Okay. On reveal, each player puts the top card of their deck into play, engage with them as a drone minion. More drones. And again, I'll put that on there so I remember they have health. And advance. Okay, so assault on NORAD. So he needs to get 10 threat on there to advance it, which is okay. And 1 goes on each round, and like the previous one, nothing on there by default, which is good. So if Ultron gains control of NORAD, he will have access to the United States Ballistic Missile Command. Oh my god. So force response, after placing threat here during step 1 of the villain phase, each player must choose to either place 2 threat here or put the top card of the deck face down, engage with them as a drone. Okay. Not too bad. Right, so start then. So I deal myself an encounter card and resolve it because I'm the only player. When revealed, the villain schemes treachery. Damn you, Red Skull. So he schemes and he'll do another boost. And it's a boost of 2. But thankfully, Shadows of the Past is an annoying card, which we won't deal with right now, which is good. So 3 threat gets placed on here straight away, which is not good. And then that's the end of Ultron's turn. Goes back to me. Right. Let's see. So we can get Mockingbird out. We can make her an honorary Avenger. And that's until she disappears, which is good. And then we can do Avengers Assemble and do 2 big hits, hopefully, against him. So start the round. That goes on there to generate resources for buying allies, which is good. Which I will use now, actually, because Mockingbird costs 3. Steve's ability reduces that by 1. And then I can just spend these 2. Whoop! And discard the Quinjet. Or does it have to be an Avengers keyword? Ah, shit. It does have to be an Avengers keyword, so sadly ignore that. But it's still reduced by 1, so just need to play 2. Oh. Yeah, okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to discard these 2 to generate 2 resources to bring Mockingbird out. And then Mockingbird, after Mockingbird enters play, stun an enemy. So stunning is a status card. So next time this character would attack, discard this status card instead. So I'm going to put that on Ultron to make my life a bit easier. And then going to exhaust Super Soldier Serum to generate a resource to bring Captain America's helmet into play. Which is quite a useful card. Bring it into play early, so I'm not having to deal with it later, so it's just there just in case. So when Captain America would be defeated, set his hit point dial to 1 instead, then discard this card. So I'll put that directly into Steve so I don't forget about it. The way I tend to lay out my cards, anything that affects the character directly, I'll attach to them. If it's sort of exhausted, goes down here, allies go there, and I do a similar sort of thing with the villain. Okay, next. Right, I'll keep Avengers Assemble for next turn because I don't have the resources to play it. But I will make Mockingbird an honorary Avenger as well. So they just gain the Avengers trait, which is useful. Okay. And then I'm going to flip over to become Captain America. And then, because I know he's not going to be able to attack me next turn, I'm going to thwart to try and reduce that to stop that advancing too much. So I'm just going to exhaust Captain America to do 2. So the 3 goes down to a 1. I'll exhaust Mockingbird as well to get rid of that one, so it goes down to 0. And while I could attack with Wonder Man, I really want to keep this card for next round and hopefully do some big hits then. So Mockingbird gets 1 damage from doing the thwart, sadly. And that's the end of my turn, so draw back up to my hand size, which is currently 5. Another Avengers Assemble. Oh, good. Perfect. So I've got energy. So because I'm using the standard Captain America deck, pretty much all standard decks that you get come with a few of these cards here that generate 2 resource, and that's all they do. But they're really, really useful. Okay. So I can potentially do Avengers Assemble and do some big hits next round. So then I'm going to ready all my stuff. Hey Doki. Look at that. And that's that. Okay. Bear with me. Let's do a quick check. Okay, so it's now Ultron's go. So place threat on the main scheme, so 1 goes down. Then after placing threat on here, I must choose to place 2 additional threat or another drone comes out. So 1 drone's already out, so I'm at least going to get damaged by that. I'm going to let the 2 threat go on. So a lot of this game is sort of about mitigating the threat meter going up too much while preparing to do a big hit. So while I did sort of waste the thwarting I did because it's just gone straight back on, it's not gone up to 6, therefore getting closer to 10, which is going to be a big problem because he's only got 1 more phase after this, and then he's won, which we don't want to happen. So he's done that, and because I'm in superhero mode, Ultron's going to attack, but because he's stunned, all we do is remove that. He doesn't attack directly, but now his drone does, and his drone has damage of 1. I'm just going to take that damage straight up, because I then retaliate immediately because I have Cap Shield. So that goes bye-bye, and that goes back into my deck, my discard pile. Okay, so last thing is an encounter card, and we've got Caught Off Guard. When revealed, discard an upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded this way, this card gains Surge. Surge is basically draw another card and resolve that. So discard an upgrade or support. Ooh, wrong deck. Upgrade or support. I'll get rid of the helmet because I'm feeling lucky. So that goes. So sometimes it's useful to play low cost upgrades like that just so you can get rid of them if cards like that come out. Okay, that's that one done. Next is my go. So, right, we want to do Avengers. So we want to do a hit, Avengers Assemble, then hit again. Ready each Avengers character you control till the end of the phase. Each Avenger character gains. Okay, so it'll be 1 minor hit and 1 big hit. Plus 1 threat. Okay. I don't have any allies spring out, so that's just going to build up and up and up. So hopefully, when it comes to it, I can bring out a big ally when I get one in my hand, because there's already 3 tokens on there to spend for Nether. Okay, so first of all, we're going to just attack with everything we've got. So we'll do attack here, so that's 2 damage directly to Ultron. And then we're going to attack with Wonder Man, so he's going to take a damage. And then I need to discard a card to be able to attack with Wonder Man. I will discard Fearless Determination, and I've dropped a card on the floor. So Wonder Man deals 3 damage. Okay. Then don't want to. Yes, I'll thwart with Mockingbird, so she gets another damage, just to stop ticking up too much. Then we're gonna play Avengers Assemble. So I'm gonna discard that to generate 2 energy. That to generate a 3rd energy, and then we're gonna exhaust this card to generate the last energy we need to then play Avengers Assemble. So I ready each Avenger I control, which is all of them thanks to Mockingbird being an honorary Avenger. Then until the end of the phase, each Avenger character in play gets +1 thwart and +1 attack. So that means Cap does 3 damage, taking Ultron down to 5. And Wonder Man, discarding the last card in my hand, does 4 damage, taking him down to 1 health. And he gets another damage. So I could thwart and get rid of the 2 on NORAD, or I could just take Ultron out and see what happens when he goes into phase 2. I think I'll do that. So Mockingbird's going to attack. She's going to get the last damage on her, so she's going to go. And so there's the attachment that's on her. But it does mean we defeat stage 1 of Ultron. So that gets discarded. And stage 2 Ultron. So when Ultron attacks, you put the top card of the deck face down and then play until the end of this attack. Ultron gets +1 attack for each drone engaged with you. Alright, so same thing as before. Needs to get better at putting cards in the camera frame. But this time, the additional thing is for each drone that's in play, Ultron's going to be more powerful, which is not good. And fucking hell, his hit points now are 22 per player. And that's the end of my go. So draw up to my hand size. Did I flip over? No. Could, yeah, because I don't want to take a big hit now, so I'll flip back over to Stevie Bob's and then end my turn. So it goes, hand size is 6. Another Avengers Assemble card and another card that gives me 2 resources. One card here which allows me to exhaust allies I control to draw cards, and then play the printed cost of ally in the player's discard pile. Put that out to player in your control. Oh, which is good. I could bring out Sam actually doing that. Okay, so ready my cards, and then it's Ultron's go. Take a sip. Okay, so place the 1 threat on the scheme, and then because I'm in alter ego mode, Ultron's going to scheme himself. So just 2 plus another 2. So 4 goes on there, sadly. He is very close. Actually, I'll change that for a 5. So he's on 7 now. So he might advance this round depending on what happens next. Okay, so encounter card. When revealed, alter ego, this card gains surge, so we just discard that, draw and resolve another one. When revealed, alter ego, Ultron schemes. And then a drone comes out into play. Oh no, discard. Oh Jesus! Right, okay. Ultron scheme. So 2 plus 1, so 3. So he's done it, and Ultron heals 1 damage for each drone minion engaged with me. So no drones are engaged with me, so he doesn't heal. He couldn't heal anyway. And then, so for each threat placed this way, so 3, I lose 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Hawkeye. Damn it. Right, that goes there. And Ultron's, excuse me, Ultron's plot advances to the next stage. So, countdown to oblivion. Sorry. Ultron has seized control of NORAD. It's only a matter of time before he It's only a matter of time before he overcomes the command safeguards and launches the nuclear arsenal. And then we've got to stop Ultron, guys. When revealed, each player puts the top card of the deck face down to play engaging with the Mazo drone. And then flip this to stage 3B. 5 per player, 1 per round. It's up to you to save the world from nuclear Armageddon. Oh my god, don't put the pressure on, guys. Threat cannot be removed from this scheme. What? What? Oh my god. How the hell am I meant to do this? Right. So, I can't thwart the scheme. I just have to stop him from doing too much damage to me. Shit. Right, we'll try and do 22 damage in hopefully 3 turns, because I'm going to need a turn to recover some health at some point. Although I confuse him. I'll stop him. Right. Okay. Let's go. I can deal 6 damage. That. Make the call. Right, so. Let's have a look at allies in my discard pile. Still an enemy. 4 arrows with Hawkeye. So Hawkeye's quite good. He's going to be good at taking out the drones. Because as soon as the drone comes out, he'll hit them with arrows. Mockingbird could stop Ultron for a turn. Who else have we got? Falcon. His ability is useless there, but he does do 2 damage. Squirrel Girl, deal 1 damage to each enemy. And that's it. So yeah, I'm gonna spend these guys here. So sadly, all of them go. But I do get Hawkeye out. So Hawkeye comes out with 4 arrows. And each time a minion comes out, I can remove an arrow counter from Hawkeye to deal 2 damage to that minion. So I can use that to mitigate the amount of drones coming out. Okay. Booker. Did I discard make the call? I didn't discard make the call. So yeah, that was the card I was playing to enable me to get Hawkeye from my discard pile. And then, what else have we got? We've got Avengers Assemble, which I could do. And I've got Heroic Strike, which I could do as well. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to recover with Steve just to get that bit of health back. So go from 8 up 3, 1, 2, 3, back to my max health, because I'm going to need it. And then let's flip over to Captain America's side just to stop Ultron scheming next round, and then I'm gonna... How much damage should I do? So it's probably better to play Heroic Strike. So I'm gonna discard Strength in Numbers to use Cap's ability to ready up. And then yeah, okay. I'll discard the Strength card, which is 2 resources. and then I will exhaust that one to generate another fist resource to then play Heroic Strike. So hero action. So hero actions mean I need to be in hero mode. To do them, deal 6 damage to an enemy. If you pay for this card using a punch resource, stun that enemy. So do 6 damage to Ultron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And place a stun token on him, which means he can't attack me directly next turn, he just removes that instead. Still got the drone to deal with here. I'm gonna discard this to enable the attack with Wonder Man. Because of his ability, needs to discard a card to attack. So sadly, Wonder Man will disappear now, but he does do 3 damage before he goes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Ultron is on 13 health now. This feels like it is doable. Just have to stop him from scheming and stop him from doing too much damage to me. I'm gonna exhaust Hawkeye to deal 1 damage to that drone, so Hawkeye takes the damage as well, just by attacking, but that gets discarded. And then going forward, Hawkeye's just gonna soak up all the drones that come out each round. And then that's me done. Okay, so draw it to my hand size, which is 5. 4, 5. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got. So we've got Genius, which is another 2 resource card. Honorary Avenger, and oh good, Agent 13. So I could make her an honorary Avenger. After Agent 13, I just play remove 2 threat from the scheme, which is useless because, as we know, threat cannot be removed from this scheme, which is ridiculous. And then shield block, prevent all that damage. That's quite good. Okay, and then the Quinjet again, which could be useful later, or I might just use that to bring stuff out. Okay. Right. So ready all my cards. Yeah, ready. Not already. And then villain's turn. So because so first of all, 1 threat goes on there by default. And then because I'm in superhero mode, Ultron attacks, but thankfully he's stunned, so that just gets discarded and he does nothing. So now we deal an encounter card and see what happens. And of course, we are under attack. It's a side scheme. Civilians are under attack. They need your help first. When revealed, each player chooses to either place 2 threat here or deal 2 damage to their hero. Alright, let's bring this out first. So put that there, because that's the crisis symbol, which means I can't deal with that until I deal with that. Although that's not too bad actually, because I can't do anything with that. So that's just going to stay there. So let me just double check I've got that right. Crisis. If a side scheme has a crisis icon, the side scheme must be discarded before threat can be removed from the main scheme. Ha! I don't care about that right now. So yeah, 2 additional threat can go in there, because that's not a problem. So that's just going to stay there. I like how the whole world's falling apart, and I'm just squaring down with Ultron in the middle of NORAD. Quite good fun. Okay, so that's resolved. So then it goes back to my turn. Okay. So what I could really do now is with the... Okay, so Agent 13 we could do with coming out. And then just remove 2 threat from there because we could, and then just use her to again do chip damage going forward. So interrupt defense. When you would take any amount of damage, exhaust Captain America's shield, prevent all that damage. Okay. So yeah, that's gonna help, because Ultron's probably gonna do a big hit next round. Okay, so yes, I can bring all the cards I want to bring out. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna discard Genius and Honorary Avenger to generate 3 resources to bring Agent 13, aka Sharon Carter, into play. So we'll pop her there. And then response, after Agent 13 enters play, remove 2 threat from the scheme. It's the only one we can remove from, so I might as well. Because you never know. And then I'm going to keep Shield Block in my hand. But I'm going to exhaust Super Soldier Serum to generate a Fist resource to bring the Quinjet out into play again. So you start generating additional resources to spend on allies going forward. I'll probably need them. And then I'm just going to attack again. So do 2 damage with Cap. And yeah, might as well do 1 damage with Agent Carter, so that brings it down to 10. This is going to be so close. Then that's me done. So draw up to my hand size. Yeah, this is definitely going to be close. So hand size is 5. Draw 2. Deck is empty. Got 3 cards, so I need to draw 2 more. So what this means, I reset my deck, which is good. But sadly, it means if I get the card that allows me to get allies out of my discard pile, there's nothing in there now, which is very annoying. Okay. And draw the remaining 2. Wonder Man again, and Power Leadership, which is good. But because I've reset my deck, I get given an additional encounter card to resolve at the end of the villain phase, which is not good at this stage in the game, let's be honest. Because if it's one that adds threats, I'm boned, and if it's one that deals a lot of damage to Captain America, I'm also in trouble. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So last thing I do is ready all my cards, and then it goes over to Ultron. So 1 threat gets placed on the scheme, and then because I'm in Captain America mode, my superhero mode, Ultron's going to attack. So first of all, I'm gonna use my shield block this round. So it saves me having to exhaust Cap or sacrifice one of my allies to take the damage instead of Cap. So Ultron's going to attack, so I know I'm getting 2 to begin with. And then I've either got to... Oh no, I have to put top card there. And then... Oh, so he gets +1 anyway, wow. Definitely using the shield. So when Ultron attacks you, put the top card of your deck into play face down, engage with you as a drone. Until the end of this attack, Ultron gains +1 for each drone minion engaged with you. So his attack is 3 by default, no matter what. So I'm going to discard shield block to use that. So interrupt defense when you would take any amount of damage. Exhaust Captain America's shield, which does mean I do not get the defense or retaliate anymore while that's exhausted. Well, no, because that's not a... That's an interesting one, because it's not a tap action to do it. It's an inherent trait. Right, hold on, let me look at the thing for retaliate. We're getting into nitty gritty now. After this character's attack, deal X damage to the attacker. Yeah, survive attack. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So I'll deal 1 damage to him anyway. So that goes. So I prevent all damage, but we'll see what the boost would have been. It would have been +2, so he would have done 5 damage overall, which is pretty bad. But thankfully, don't need to worry about that. And that's that's quite a good card to get rid of via boost, because that's an advanced Ultron drone which has the keyword guard. Ability guard, which means I have to attack this before I could attack Ultron, which would not be good at this stage in the game. Okay, so I cancel that damage. I deal 1 damage to Ultron in retaliation, so he goes down to 9 health. Oh, we could do this. And then I deal a second encounter card, so now I have 2 encounter cards to resolve. So it feels like these are the cards that will decide the game, potentially. because I could hopefully generate enough damage next round to do the 9 damage to get rid of Ultron. But we'll see. First one, Concussive Blast. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each friendly character. Okay. Right. Hawkeye and Agent 13 aren't looking good. To each friendly character. Does that include myself? Let's have a look, see if there's an entry for friendly character. Friendly, page 8. All cards player controls. So I'm going to assume that means me as well. Just following the grim rule where in these LCG games that Fantasy Flight make, if you aren't sure on a rule or an ability like that, where I'm like, is friendly include myself, you assume the worst and say that it does, so I'll take the damage as well. Okay, so right, next one. Ugh, right, here we go. Program transmitter attachment attached to Ultron. Force response. After Ultron schemes, place 1 threat in each side scheme. Hero action. Exhaust your hero and spend 2 science resources to discard this card, and that gives Ultron +1 scheme. Would have been worse earlier, because right now we're not gonna bother letting him scheme, because that's gonna advance. So okay, not too bad. Could have been worse. Okay. Mega. So 1 resource goes in the Quinjet to bring out allies. Annoyingly, I don't. Well, I do have Wonder Man, so I need to try and do 9 damage. What can I get up to? I forgot to take out the drone with Hawkeye. Normally, I would go, oh yeah, I forgot, and I'd resolve it here and now, but because I'm being a good boy, I'm playing by the rules, that's my bad, that drone's staying there. Okay. So at most, I could do 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. I think I can do this. Right, yeah, so first of all, because otherwise it's a waste, gonna discard the power of leadership, which is max 2 per deck, double the number of resource this card generates while paying for a leadership card, which are the blue ones. So if it's blue, it generates 2 instead of 1, so I'll bring Wonder Man out using that. Next, we will keep these. Yeah, don't need to heal damage from Steve. Got resources there. Right, okay. Yeah, because I need both these cards. So what I'm going to do, just to talk it through, just to make sure I've got it right, I'm going to attack with everybody, which does mean I lose Hawkeye and Agent 13. I need to discard a card to attack with Wonder Man. And that should take him down to 2 health, which at that point I will discard the last card from my hand to use in a very fitting way. I can do this all day. Action, discard 1 card from your hand to ready Captain America. And then attack with Cap again to defeat Ultron and save the world from nuclear Armageddon. Let's just, hopefully that will work out. If I've got the basic math right, but I'm very bad at basic math. So let's find out. So first of all, we'll attack with Steve. So that does 2 damage. Then we'll attack with Hawkeye. Another 1 damage. Sadly, we say bye to Hawkeye. We didn't use his special ability at all, and the one time we could, we forgot. Okay, and then we'll attack with Agent 13. So that does another point of damage. Sadly, Sharon goes, but she did her duty well. Finally, for this part of the turn, we'll attack with Wonder Man. I'm going to discard Strength in Numbers to be able to attack with Wonder Man. So Wonder Man takes 1 bit of damage because he's attacking and deals 3 damage to Ultron. 1, 2, 3. I do feel a bit bad because Wonder Man's a pacifist. He's got because the whole thing in the comics, he's a pacifist. And he's one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel universe. So if he starts punching people, he's been pushed to the edge, and I'm just here going, oh yeah, just. I suppose the world is on the brink of nuclear annihilation, but I still felt bad making Wonder Man break his vow of being a pacifist. Anyway, so discarding Steve's apartment, he doesn't need a place to live. To use I Can Do This All Day to ready Captain America, which means I can attack with Captain America 1 more time to deal the 2 damage I need to defeat Ultron and save the day. Whew. Well, that was cool. Thanks to the people who popped in and watched. As I did, I can see there's 2 viewers at the moment, which is cool. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. And there's a few people that popped in and out as we're playing. I'm going to try and do this a bit more frequently, make this more of a thing. Maybe actually do something with this channel at some point. But yeah, that's Marvel Champions, the card game from Fantasy Flight Games. It's a living card game, which means there's new card packs coming out every month. Apart from this month where 3 came out, and there's different types of card packs that come out. So you have hero packs like this one for Captain America. The other one that came out this month was Ms. Marvel, which is a really good one. And then there's also scenario packs. The scenario pack is Green Goblin. Actually, I've got what I was using to hold up the villain indicator. So Green Goblin one's there. There's 2 Green Goblin sets of cards in there and a few extra things you can add in. They're quite interesting. I've only done one of them so far, so I might do another stream next week with those. And then there's also going to be story expansions, which are going to be bigger boxes. So if you've played any of the Fantasy Flight LCG games, they'll be along the lines of deluxe expansions, I believe. And they're going to be more mini campaigns, going through more of a story from session to session, which would be quite cool. And they're going to add in a bunch of new cards, a bunch of new heroes, a bunch of new everything. Yeah, it's a really good game. I enjoy playing it solo as much as I do with other people, which is why I ended up doing the stream. And it's the sort of card game I love because, as you can see, there's a big mess of cards on the table at the end of the game. So Captain America didn't have a lot of cards coming out. When you play with Iron Man, you have a load of cards on the table at the end of the game, and you just have to remember everything. It's really good fun. So yeah, I'd recommend picking up the base game box if you're interested. It's like available everywhere because it's Marvel and Fantasy Flight. I've just printed loads of copies of it and flooded the shops with it because it's their new big game for this year. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching. And yeah, please subscribe or whatever it is you do on Twitch. I forget. Yeah, it was close, but I defeated Ultron. Oh, I say I did. Captain America did. He did all the work. But one of the things I love about this game is that it always comes down to the wire, and something cool usually happens when you win. So the perfect example here is, last thing I can do is use Cap's catchphrase, "I can do this all day," to get up again to defeat Ultron, which is so fitting and so perfect and so thematic. And that's why I really enjoy this game, because I'm a big comic book fan, if you hadn't have guessed. And yeah, so stuff like that happening in just a card game like this, using cards and bits of paper, and it's evoking that imagery in my mind, is really well done. So round of applause for Fantasy Flight Game. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll try and do more of these streams more regularly. I'm going to try once a week on a Friday, but I do have a small child to look after, so we were very lucky tonight. He didn't wake up, but he might wake up in future streams. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.